Welcome back to 999. We've skipped ahead a little bit, so Snake is once again kidnapped, and we are deciding once again which door to go through.
How are we supposed to get a genuine 999 experience if you're just cutting whole essential parts of the game out? How dare you edit these playthroughs? My gaming experience.
Well, as much as I would have liked to talk about Zero Time Dilemma and all this weird pseudoscience the entire series had through same parts you've already seen before, I felt that really wasn't that necessary, so I just kind of left it out.
And I agree. I forget, this game has a fast text, right? We're just not using it for, nicety's sakes. No, because I definitely remember just being able to blitz through all the text and just get to the decisions.
Yeah, it does. I think at some point I may be showing it off, but probably not now, because this is a totally new route since we're going in through door number 7 instead of number 8.
Woo! I like this route because this is a route involving 2 conscious decisions to team up with our buddy 7.
Oh, hell yes.
He's big, he's lovable, and I think it's in another... No, it's in another ending that we get to hear him use some cool lingo. This one we just... I don't know, it's mostly Junpei. Junpei's really mean to him in the first class cabin. Anytime they mention a chair, he's like, oh, 7 might break it, 7 might break it. It's like, dude, Junpei, rude. Just because he's a big guy. And there's even the part where he mentions that a couch is like, oh, that's big enough for 3 people. And 7's like, it looks perfect for me. And Junpei gives him shit, like a little jerk.
Yeah, and in between, well, this and the little hiatus, there was another kind of a re-release, I should say, of 999 and Virtue's Last Reward for the PS4 and PC, known as Zero Escape: The Nonary Games, as so aptly titled, and they add voice acting into 999, and I've been going through it, and after taking everything into consideration and just kind of thinking about it real hard, I gotta say, I think 7 might be my favorite character.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting there too. They're in Snake. Like I said, I'm still going through this game. I play through games really slowly, so when Evan's like, play through the game again, we're gonna do the playthrough, it's like, okay, I've only got through like 2 rooms so far, but I've been falling so much more in love with the flavor text, and so I've been seeing a lot of Snake in 7, and yeah, 7's a damn fine character. Best part of this game.
Yeah, and you'll also be happy to know that I still do think that Clover is probably the worst in quotations character in the game, because she's alright. It's just that, again, not to spoil anything, but she really doesn't do anything interesting in this game.
Yeah, after we get the axe ending, yeah, she's pretty disposable as a character. Aside from her redemption, which that becomes more of a Junpei moment though than a Clover moment, because she's not even the one that's like being active in that situation. But I always love this. Do you always get tense when they have to find the dead too? It's like you're reading the text and I just smash through that text because I want them to hurry up and find that dead.
Yeah, I always felt that at some point, I think I might have said this before as well, but at some point I always felt like they were going to put a section in the game where they didn't reach the dead in time, so they just blow away, end up like the Ninth Man. Bye-bye, game over.
I really thought that was going to be one of the endings, too. I mean, you have just about every other kind of death. I really thought there would be a DEAD ending, but nope. Also, I like the use of the octopus.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's more for the Titanic theme, but it would be kind of neat to see if there's any sort of... I mean, they use the spades in the casino for a reason. There's got to be a reason they used the octopi other than it matches the nautical designs.
Now, here are some of my favorite interactions in the game between 7 and Clover, just because, like with 7 and Lowe's, they kind of sort of hate each other, but this is more of like just an older man and a younger high school, graduated from high school, but yeah, woman.
What? No, woman. She's 18. That's the thing I don't get about. I mean, it's the thing that irks me about Clover's design more than anything is that she is 18, but even in the game they make comment that like, oh, she looks, acts, behaves younger than her age. It's like you guys really just wanted an excuse to put a small child in the game when you throw small children in later in the game. So what was the point of this other than fan service?
And you cannot convince me that Clover looks like a completely different person, almost completely different, like only after a year. Like, sorry, Mr. Game Designer and Art Designer, you can't do that to me.
Are you talking about her transformation in the second game with the
transformation
where she's dressed like Pebbles? I swear she looks like Pebbles in Virtue's Last Reward.
Oh Jesus. Oh, I'd never thought about that, and you just put that in my... You fucking piece of shit.
I'm so sorry, bro.
Oh, God. Okay, if we ever get to Virtue's Last Reward, we're going to name Clover Pebbles from now on.
It's apt.
But until then, we're just going to have to check out this this little area here. This is the operating room, and like with the laboratory, it's a singular puzzle room that is kind of the format for the second set of doors. But it's also, like with the laboratory, one of the better puzzle rooms in the game, because if only for aesthetic purposes, honestly, though. Yeah,
I mean, because there is one more, it's behind the 3-door, but that puzzle, it's not a really good puzzle in of itself, but it has a plot point in it, so most people are like, oh, it's dumbass. But in terms of the puzzle itself, the puzzle is not that good. I much prefer the puzzle in, the Dancy Robot and in this operating room. Like, these are much better puzzles, even though the story for this room isn't all that good as it is in the other 2 numbered rooms in the second choice.
Yeah, and also again, as with room number 8, depending on what the first door was that you chose. If you go in the incorrect door in here, you won't get that much plot. You'll see why in the future, as we'll be going through 8 and 7 again in order to get to those extra plot points. But, yeah, just keep it at that.
We're just reaching all the bad endings first. These are all the shit lines, shit endings.
I feel like if we went to door number 1 after this ending, Clover would just beat the shit out of 7 even further with the axe, because
it's like the axe ending never ended, dude. It's no, what you don't know is that she learned to shift too. Oh no, you're actually playing with axe Clover the rest of the game.
Oh God.
I'm surprised. Like, hire me, bro. I curate these games.
Yeah, and this is also I forgot to mention this as well, but Katara mentioned in an interview long after that Clover unfortunately didn't make it out after that ending. Yeah, all that murder was for naught.
I mean, that's for the best, I guess. Just make it all one big depressing ending.
Yeah, and we actually never figure out... Well, I mean, we do kind of assume what happened with Lotus and Ace as well, given future events, but we'll keep that on the back burner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you wouldn't want the opposite of a psychopathic, murderous Clover free upon the general public, so it's probably for the best that the craziness of the Nonary game stayed much contained on the ship.
Very much so. Alright, so this room involves collecting little mannequin body parts in order to do a little bit of weighing, and that will help solve the puzzle and get you out of this room. It's a lot less interesting than it sounds, but it's still... I like the progression that you make in this room.
It's a good one. It's a lot of the second room puzzles involve, your item gathering. That's... Especially with this route too, because you have to have the music collection and then you have the part collections. But this one's cool because it's going to show off a little bit of Clover's character as well, at least her ability to actually do some pretty interesting math as well. With the weighing, she actually can pick up the beat there quickly too.
and also the fact that despite her apparent age, she's still a very young girl at heart, and a very big goof as well.
This is one of the good timelines, especially after the axe ending, where Clover's actually doing pretty okay considering the situations. This is at least a baseline Clover. It's not completely depressed and destroyed Clover, and it's also not manic, murderous Clover.
Yeah, like that, for example. Hey, if we put salt on 7, maybe he'll shrivel up, because get it? He's a slug. LOL. Lol.
Why would you say he's a slug, though? I don't... For what reason?
Cause he's big and fat.
Oh.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but just go with the story, man.
I mean, I can see why it would be a thing that Clover would make fun of. She would be immature in that sense, but... I mean, is it because of the yellow? Or is this a banana tree slug thing?
I should also point out that checking all of these chemicals here is also kind of unnecessary. This is all just flavor text. I mean, unless this is the first time you're going in here, you'll probably want to check them out, but you can still solve this little puzzle here without even looking at the chemicals at all.
I mean, if you don't know chemistry, then maybe you learned a few things there, with ammonia and a dihydrogen monoxide, or as more commonly known as water, is a very corrosive chemical.
Such a stupid name. Is that the official scientific name, dihydrogen monoxide? I mean, that is...
It's the correct nomenclature, just because... So nitrogen is a gas, so when you name it, you have to use the mono-di prefixes. Right. So dihydrogen, 2 hydrogens to 1 oxygen, monoxide. It's just that water is such a better word.
Yeah, because it's such the most common resource and necessary resource for any life at all.
I think we already went over this with the whole life shit, but...
Yeah, we do talk about all ice in this segment. Well, not this segment, but in this room, we get a bit of an extended story from 7, which we will look at later. Not now, though, because he needs to go freaking pseudoscience-y on us as well and talk about EDT crystals.
Oh, God. It's fucking... It's Ice 9 all over again. No, it's just Ice 9, or not even. It's the glycerol story, where they try to get something to crystallize. Like, basically, it's another story of molecules communicating, essentially. They're trying... It's another theme of just... not cross-dimensional, but just a means of communication that is beyond what we know of. That even molecular atoms can display this means of communication. It's all what these weird stories are getting at. And yeah, I got kind of heated about Ice 9, but really, to be fair, 999 and the Zero Escape series, it's a science fiction series. So when these people are talking about these crystals communicating and glycerol changing and talking over space, I mean, it's the same thing as basically when any Star Trek character mentions how the engine works. It's all the same thing. And honestly, I think the thing that gets me is that they're using science that's so similar to real science that it irks me. That's like, wait, did you just get it wrong? But no. Like, the fact that Ice 9 doesn't exist isn't a bad thing. It's the fact that, they springboarded off the idea that there theoretically could be other types of ices, and they just went with it. And kudos to the sci-fi aspect of at least the first game. The second game just goes completely nutso, but it goes on good topics, and then they just super dialed it back for Zero Time Dilemma to instead do, like, ethical questions instead of, like, scientific questions.
It's like, what's it called again? Schrodinger's annoyance. Will you get annoyed at this use of scientific theory, or will you not? You just gotta open it up to find out. Right?
Like, 999 is cool in the sense that it has all almost science. It's all this theoretical science, and then you have Zero Time Dilemma, where they talk about game theory, which is, you know, an actual thing, and then they talk a lot about AI theory, which are actual things. It's just kind of weird that I guess they realize that sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction, because a lot of the stuff they talk about, especially the AI, was really interesting to me. Like, I went and did my own research based off what I read on Zero Time Dilemma, or based on Virtue's Last Reward, but like everything they talk about is like either something that's been mentioned before or is based off something previously existing. And then yeah, because in Zero Time Dilemma, it's at that point it's like, no, we created our own magic, so we're gonna use that now.
Yeah, fucking rude. Clover has to interrupt our wonderful conversation. Alright, off we go back to this dumb little puzzle. I mean, I say that, but it's not actually that dumb. Again, I do like it. I do like it. Trust me, I do like it.
Who are you trying to convince more, them or yourself?
I like this again. And one of the reasons for it is because it's another one of those puzzle rooms that if you go through it again, there are little shortcuts that you can make. Like this little chart here, you don't even need it. You don't need it at all.
What? You mean we could sequence break? That's my kind of game.
Yeah, and tidbit for this little section here, pour in all the liquids at once while the flashlight is on, so that all the doors are unlocked, and you don't have to go through this tedious garbage ever again. A little bit odd how exactly this works, though. Just like, I'm not entirely sure what connection there is between the little light source and the lock on the door, but I don't know, maybe some newfangled shit that the Titanic had back in the day, like with the microchips in the cards.
It's that zero technology. It's all of this technology why Crash Keys even has money. You know, they just sold the patents for this shit. You don't need to know what that means, but you soon will.
Ew, legs.
Right? I mean, it's like, some people have two, some have one, some have none, but we're supposed to like use them to get around? Like, what's the deal with that?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
And this is where you hopefully took an art class in elementary school, and you know that red and blue makes purple.
Otherwise, you're fucked.
How am I supposed to know? The game never told me which button to push to make purple.
Now I'm just thinking that there's got to be some sort of flavor text in here where Clover and Seven just yelled at Junpei to mix both of them at once, but he doesn't quite know how. And this is like the fire thing in the first class cabins. This could have been another ending. The ship sunk because Junpei didn't know how to make purple.
No, we're gonna make it better. The ship sunk because Junpei was colorblind.
Oh fuck.
It fits.
Oh goddamn. See, now you're thinking that Seven and Clover could have just helped them, but plot twist, they were colorblind as well.
I think that's another good thing about this game is that it does play on the whole vision thing. We'll get back to that. That's for a later thought.
Okay. Alright, I guess we gotta do something about this little body here, and then the other guy as well. He needs the same kind of treatment.
Why did we build this doll? Why did we bring this life we were not prepared to be responsible for?
I don't know, man. Maybe it's because we gotta switch their body parts. See, the thing was I was trying to lead towards something dirty, but clearly you're not doing anything dirty here. Well, actually, now that I think of it, you kind of are.
I mean, it's not dirty in the he sexual way. It's dirty in the this is kind of fucked up kind of way.
Yeah, because oh god.
Like, look, they had names.
Yeah. Now I just remember the other segment in this game other segment in this puzzle room that involves Clover talking about a very interesting scientific theory that I'm not even sure if... Well, actually, yeah, now that I think of it, it does kind of get involved in the plot of the game, but I'm gonna not go into it any further because once we get to it, though, we'll see, and I'm pretty excited for that because it's one of my favorite sections in the game. Shall we unlock the door?
Clover's really good in this puzzle room. I think that's one of the reasons why I like this puzzle room as well. And that is a good part of the puzzle format for this series too, is one, the puzzle itself, two, the people you're with in that puzzle. Because, I mean, I really like that first class cabin, but that was also because, like I said, there's a lot of really good jokes there with Snake trying to being a badass and being a really scary badass, and then you have all the text with Seven treating Junpei like a moron. So that together with the format of the music puzzle is a good puzzle. And so with this in the operating room, I do think a good part of it is the people you're with.
And I gotta say, it's interesting that they didn't do anything like this, have these little visual novel sections within the puzzle rooms in either of the other games. Like, they have like certain text segments and whatnot, and of course after the puzzle room is done, you get the visual novel segment, but you don't ever see these elements intertwined with each other throughout the rest of the series. So that's another thing that makes 999 unique.
Yeah, I think it's something it does better than the other two games for having these segments be more integrated into the puzzle. I mean, it's not a part of the puzzle, it's just, you know, they're literally throwing plot points before the you got out cutscene rather than after. But it is kind of neat because in some cases the story point sort of helps motivate you to finish the puzzle. So you're like, oh wow, you've trusted an emotional story to me, let's get you out of here or something, as opposed to we got out of here, thank you so much, now let me tell you my backstory. Like, it's like, that seems a bit unnecessary, we got out.
And if anything, this little segment here, which is also kind of more extended on in the correct route, kind of shows like Clover's little state of mind as she's still worrying about her brother at this point, and she's clearly thinking that he's dead and she's gonna be next. So, I mean, of course, her going around murdering everyone is completely unjustified, but at least it kind of gives a little context as to what she's thinking.
I mean, she's not murdering, she's protecting herself by killing everyone else before they kill her. She's fearing for herself, she's an animal lashing out.
Look, you think that's gonna fly by in a courtroom?
I mean, none of this is gonna fly. There's at least 9 counts of kidnapping, plus all the death, murder, commandeering of a ship.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but still, like...
Something tells me that Clover might be able to plead that, like, she had strenuous circumstances. She was kidnapped, alright? She acted out to try and escape. She did her best. And apparently it didn't work.
Well, there are a bunch of fans who could probably give such testimony, and we'll see you guys on the next part of 999, where we will detail that. No, we won't.